excited for today's episode because I'm going to be sharing about 3 saints that I love and wisdom from them that we can relate to our ministries. Well, welcome back to another episode of Youth Ministry Insights, and I am really happy to be with you today. We're ending Season 5 of Youth Ministry Insights, just sharing about the wisdom of the saints. 3 saints who are very near and dear to my heart. 3 saints who have had relations with youth in different ways. One taught and was a principal, another one ran an oratory, and another one just loved working with the youth. And they are St. John Bosco, St. Mother Teresa, and St. John Paul II. And so these 3 saints are saints that I have devotions to. Saints that I ask their intercession daily, not only for the work that I do, but even just in my life for helping me to grow in holiness and ultimately grow closer to the Lord and deeper to His calling for me. And so the first saint quote that I'd like to share with you is from St. John Bosco. And it's all about Holy Eucharist. He says, "We do not go to Holy Communion because we are good. We go to become good." And I think that's so important for us to remember. Remember, he worked with the youth. He worked with the boys at his oratory. He had St. Dominic Savio come up through him and become a saint himself he died at a very young age, St. Dominic Savio. And talking about St. John Bosco, he knew the heart of the youth, but he also knew what the secret was to get to the youth. And it was through Jesus. Through Jesus in Holy Communion, through Jesus growing our relationship with Him, through St. John Bosco's own relationship with the Lord. And so this quote I think is so important for us to remember, because I think so many young people think that, you have to be all holy with a halo around your head in order to become part and be part of your youth ministry, or become, even just come into the church, walk into the church, come to Mass. But that's not it. That's not it at all. We're going because we are seeking out that holiness. We're going because we want to become good. And so I think that message really needs to be made present with the young church, be shown by our own example that we are sinners and that we are trying to live a better life. Back in 2020, I had an opportunity to pray by St. John Bosco's body. His body lay partially incorrupt in Turin. And when I was there at the church by his body, something inside of me stirred. And I think it was that, I just felt this greater calling to the work that he did. Got to walk around where his oratory was and pray there. And for me, as a youth minister, he is a saint that I definitely do look up to him and the work that he did with youth. The second saint is St. Mother Teresa. I've always loved St. Mother Teresa. Since a young age, have been drawn to the work that she's done with the poor. That's really what she's known for. But she was a teacher and a principal for many years before that second calling in working with the poor. So she has a lot of experience in working with the youth. And even when she worked with the poor, she worked with orphans and those children on the street and taught them. So it didn't stop just because she started to work with amongst the poor. So Mother Teresa says, "The miracle is not that we do this work, but that we are happy to do it." Now, of course, this was relating to the work that she did in her calling, her second calling of working with the poor. I would imagine so. But I think this work, that we are happy to do it, is important for us to remember as youth ministers, because in the approach we take, it's the way we approach our ministries, the way we approach the youth, the way we approach the parents, that we are joyful, that we share that joy, that we have our love of the work we do, and ultimately our love for Christ and following Him. So I think we have to remember that. We forget that in the day in, the day out. We probably get caught up in so many things. I know I do. Emails and scheduling things and reminders and trying to cultivate the youth to come to your programs, and kind of lose sight that we are joyful people and we should be bringing that joy to them in the work that we do. So to carry that joy with us and to carry that joy into the work that we do. All right, the last quote is by St. John Paul II, one of my ultimate favorites. Such a man who loved to work with the youth. Started World Youth Days, was always amongst the young people, and shared that young, joyful exuberance that he had for the church with that youthfulness with the youth themselves, and loved young people. So he says, The Eucharist is the sacrament of the presence of Christ, who gives himself to us because he loves us. And I think the most important part is that last line about that he loves us. The youth need to feel our love. They need to feel the love we have for Christ working through us to them. And we have to remember to show them that love. Many times youth do not feel that love at home, in school, and by others. And so we have to remember to give that love to others, to be that joyful, loving, motherly or fatherly presence to the youth themselves. And if we keep that in our mind, keep that on our hearts, we'll be able to really, truly bring them to the faith, bring them to know Christ, bring them to love Christ the way we do, be a reflection of that. So I leave you with these 3 quotes by 3 great saints who, as you saw in maybe the picture, I'll show you right here, my little prayer cards to them, I pray to them daily. They're not very fresh looking prayer cards. They're pretty worn in. And that's because I ask them every day to pray for me from heaven to help the work I do, and to help touch the hearts and in turn touch the souls of the youth. And I hope they can do that for you as well. God bless.